Thanks for coming to Wake Downtown.
I'm excited to be here and want you to really share with me what you do here at Wake Forest.
Sure. I'm a professor in chemistry. I also serve as associate chair of the chemistry department. It's a big service role. In classroom, I teach the advanced biochemistry course. I also teach biochemistry lab. I have an active research lab with graduate students at a PhD level, as well as undergraduate research students.
So you're doing both research and you're doing teaching.
Yes, and I think that's really the spirit of the teacher scholar model that we follow here at Wake Forest.
I would agree with you completely. Now, tell me about your scientific discoveries and those of your students. What are you studying and what are you focused on?
So one research project that I'm really excited at the moment, it's a project that is currently funded by the National Science Foundation, and it has to do with understanding the synthesis of metallocofactors associated with nitrogenase. That's a mouthful.
That is.
Let me digest this to you. So nitrogenase is an enzyme that is produced in microbes that typically are in the soil or in the ocean, and they can harness nitrogen from the air and then can transform that into a bioavailable form of nitrogen, ammonia. Organisms that produce nitrogenase, the nitrogen fixing organisms, they are considered as natural fertilizers. So the ultimate goal of this research is really to understand the molecular details of nitrogen fixation so we can develop better technologies for biofertilization. And that helps to implement this technology on food crops and mitigate the damage that artificial fertilizers do to the environment.
So you have a couple different research areas of focus. And
Sure.
how did you get drawn to those particular fields? I mean, I'm passionate about enzymes, but
Sure.
there are lots of enzymes.
I'm originally from Brazil, and I got a bachelor's in pharmacy. That's where I got my initiation to enzymology and biochemistry, protein purification. I then moved to US. I got my PhD at Virginia Tech. So in my PhD, I was very focused on understanding the mechanism of this enzyme. As I transitioned to postdoc and now faculty, the research interest became how those cofactors are actually assembled in the cellular environment. But that has implications in a broad range of enzymes because iron sulfur enzymes are present in all aspects of metabolism, in respiration, DNA damage, replication. Understanding how those cofactors are assembled can help us understand human disease, but also can optimize those pathways for implanting nitrogen fixation in plants.
You know, what got you really interested in this, which you are clearly passionate about and you're a leader in your field, is that first lab experience. And I know that's what you offer our students here at Wake Forest, is that opportunity to work in the lab, to really understand research firsthand.
It's a privilege to be a mentor of undergraduate and graduate students. I have students coming into my lab as early as freshman year. I have the privilege to see them develop their understanding for the research topic, develop their curiosity, critical thinking, apply the scientific method. It always makes me proud when they are graduating and defending the honors thesis, the scientists that they become. And then witnessing that process is really, really rewarding. So I've been awake for 17 years so far. So it feels already a long time.
It was just yesterday.
Just saying that number. So this is time long enough to see students starting, graduating, going into medical school, going into graduate school. Through this trajectory, I had mentored several students that now are professional in different fields of research, but including mine that have gone on, done their PhD, and now are professors at different universities, including Wake Forest. So it's easy to be a good mentor when you have really good students.
So are there resources here at Wake Forest or particular opportunities that you've had that have been really important to your career steps?
Yes, I think there are plenty of resources for you to, at a teaching level, to develop new courses, to implement new technology in the classroom. I do a fun project that students, they analyze protein structures, they print 3D models.
I've seen those.
yeah.
I've seen those. I
Which
went
is
to one of
really-
your classes. Yeah.
It really gives them a good sense, three-dimensional perspective, what enzymes are. Also, there's a lot of incentives in terms of research. One thing that I would like to share is the benefits that faculty has for the Reynolds Research Leave. I have benefited from that a few years ago and took a full year sabbatical in Freiburg, Germany. And then that experience really allowed me to learn a new expertise, but also establish meaningful research collaboration. So the current research grant that I have with the National Science Foundation is co-sponsored with the Deutsche Research Fund, DFG, and then it's funding this research on nitrogen fixation. It's involving graduate students to travel to Germany, but also enabling our own undergraduates to continue their research trajectory. So one of my former undergraduate students is currently a Fulbright scholar, and then he's in Freiburg at my collaborators lab, continuing the research that he started as an undergraduate here at Wake Forest, which I think is really phenomenal because it's helping them in their postgraduate opportunities.
Right. So not only are your students learning all the time, but you are also challenging yourself to learn new things so that you can continue being really at the top of your field in teaching and in doing research.
As a faculty, we're forever learners, right? So we continue to learn and adapt.
Well, I know we're going to have to do another walk because I'm only touching the very tip of all that you do, and I'm going to look forward to that. Thank you for today.
Thank you for coming to Wake Downtown.